Hi, my name is Richardo Jackson, CEO of Campbell Health Solutions. I just wanted to hop in here before the show begins to let you know about our Tuesday late night clinic. Basically, it's every Tuesday from 5 to 9 p.m. by appointment only. We do HIV testing, primary care, wellness checks, STD screening, and treatment. So just give us a call at 561-208-6595 to schedule your appointment.
Good evening and welcome to our podcast, our show, Positively Positive. I am your host, Susan Mintz. We have had the most exciting guests, I think, this year with organizations. We love stories. That's how we're removing the stigma and sharing information and education and resources, one story, one show at a time. But this year, I've had the pleasure of meeting so many people involved with organizations. And I think that's so important today because a lot of the HIV AIDS issues you're not hearing about on TV. And it's a lot of local people, who are talking about it. And this show is so great because we are the only show in the country of its kind that has a weekly podcast. Thank you, Campbell Health Solutions, for sponsoring me. We are the only program of its kind in the country who has a weekly podcast where we highlight a person, an organization, an upcoming event, and it's all HIV/AIDS related. So it's a marvelous opportunity to have this platform to be able to keep HIV relevant out there. Maybe not mainstream yet, but we are streaming. And that's what's important. So welcome to Positively Positive. And just thank you all so much for your support. We have just so many exciting guests that we still to have on. And tonight is no exception. Living in South Florida, whether that is Palm Beach County, Broward, or Dade, Miami-Dade, we are blessed truly to have so many resources. A lot of states or cities will never have what we have in Florida, especially South Florida, where HIV and STDs are so really, it's very extensive. We have a lot of it here. Demographics, location, density of population, cultures. It's challenging, but we have amazing resources here. And one of the resources we have is called CAN Community Health. And they are up, well, I think there's several places, but tonight my guest is from the Lake Worth CAN Community Health. That's where she is. And she came by somebody else who worked at Compass. So people are telling people and they're sharing their interest in wanting to get this information out. So it's very exciting. So CAN Community Health is my guest tonight. It is going to be a wonderful interview. I love it. And so by now, the theatrics, when my glasses come off, that's when I say and introduce my guest, Lydia Breaux. Come on in.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me.
We're dressed similarly.
We are. Yes, we are.
Hi. Oh, I was so up. I have so many questions to ask you, but the main thing is with CAN Community Health, are there several CAN Community Healths all over the state? Because my connection with Daniel came out of Tampa, I think.
Yes. So we are actually located in 6 different states. We are located in Florida, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Virginia, and South Carolina, with several clinics all across Florida, and 6 clinics here in the South Florida area, spread from my clinic in Palm Beach County all the way to South Beach.
Wow. So it's really big. It's not just a local community health center type thing.
No, it
It's,
has grown exponentially since its founding in 1991. Yeah.
that's wonderful. And how did you get to doing what you do, which I didn't have your official title, but where were you from and how did you get involved and end up in Lake Worth at CAN Community Health? What's your background?
Yes, so I am originally from Louisiana. That is where I finished my undergrad bachelor's degree as a registered nurse. And so I worked as a registered nurse for about 8 years before going back to school to get my master's and become a nurse practitioner. I've been in Florida now for a little over 10 years and got my connection to CAN Community Health actually at the Smart Ride, which I don't know if you're familiar with the Smart Ride.
Mhm.
But I was working there as a volunteer and met the chief medical officer, Dr. Barnett, and Dr. Sinchen, who works in our Fort Lauderdale clinic. And we chatted, and they told me about this position at Lake Worth, and it was the job that I went back to school for. So it was a match.
Perfect. Yeah, and I know Dylan Brooks from Compass recommended CAN so many times, and finally it connected. I've been in Boca 40 years,
Okay.
and my story is my husband was bisexual, and he got ill in 92 and passed in 94, but I knew in 81 that this would be my ministry. It's just that this door opened to be able to have this platform to interview wonderful people like yourself. So I'm entrenched in HIV exclusively. So you said that, how long have you been with CAN, you said?
I have been with CAN for just a little over 2 years now.
All right. And you're a certified nurse practitioner?
I am. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And you have your master's in
nursing, master's in nursing.
And CAN Community Health is in 6 states?
6 states. Yes.
They're red states too, aren't they? A lot of them.
They are good states and states that our clinic is much needed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be expanding.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. HIV is being definitely managed so much better, and thank God for medications, but it hasn't gone away. Absolutely. So I think there is definitely room in other states for facilities like this. So with your job there, tell me specifically what CAN Community Health overall is, and then what is your position, because people are going to be able to get in touch with you. We have the phone number. I don't think we got your email address yet, but you can just tell me that and we'll show that. Do you have a personal way people can get to you?
I do. My personal email is the letter L, like my first name, Lydia, and then my last name, Breaux, BREAUX, @cancommunityhealth.org. Okay,
great. And we had the phone number, which we put up before. Yeah. So what specifically is CAN does, CAN did, and then it's great to have a CAN. The other thing is then I want to get after what overall they do, then what your position and you do specifically, because you're in the Lake Worth, right?
Exactly, yes.
Are you near Compass? Are you connected close by?
My clinic is located inside of the Compass building.
Oh, that's wonderful, because I want to get up there and see Dylan, and then I'll be able to meet you.
Yes, absolutely. Stop on by anytime. It's a really beautiful building.
Yeah. Now, I understand that. Now, tell me about CAN Community Health in general in 6 states, what CAN does. And where did it start?
So it started in Sarasota, Florida. It was founded by Susan Terry and Dr. Jeffrey Stahl. Susan Terry was a leader and a philanthropist who saw a need in the community for a clinic to treat HIV, and together they founded the first clinic in Sarasota, Florida. And now, as I said, that has expanded to 6 different states. Community CAN stands for Community AIDS Network. Our mission statement is empowering wellness. We treat patients living with HIV, hepatitis C. Our mission has expanded also to providing PrEP and post-exposure prophylaxis. We also do STI testing and treatment as well.
Does each facility in each state have a different thing that they do, or is it you're all the same, or does some have more extensive resources than others? Tell me about how that works in different states.
For the most part, to my knowledge, we are all run pretty similar. There are some facilities that are participating in research studies. My clinic in Lake Worth does also offer primary care for people identifying in the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
So I'm able to provide that service as well at my clinic.
So it's not just, that's where Compass came into the picture. So yours, even though you're a nurse practitioner, and CAN is primarily HIV and STDs and that, but you do provide a safe place for the LGBTQ plus community. That's very important, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's our partnership with Compass is truly amazing, not only for those primary care referrals, but for PrEP referrals as well. And with Compass doing HIV testing in the same building, if someone does come back with a positive result, they can connect them to us the same day and we can start treatment immediately that same day.
That's so important, because I hear stories of people. I mean, this show doesn't have a million people following it yet, but we have people all over the country who still watch.
Right.
And there's some areas that don't have anything. And I feel like by having this program, this show, and having people like yourself on, we can at least share what possibly people can do, or where they can go, or how they can apply for assistance. So with you, though, I think, though, to me, what's very hurtful is that not only, let's say, if you get an HIV positive diagnosis, the stigma attached yet, which is just deplorable,
Right.
But having to be in the LGBTQ plus community, how do you deal effectively with being in a marginalized community that's under siege, literally, and then having a condition that still is costly, can have a stigma attached? I mean, it seems like people can be overwhelmed.
I agree. I think that we are lucky at CAN Community Health to have a really good team that has experience with patients in that same exact situation that you just described. We also are able to offer peer counseling. So people on staff who are also living with HIV, who are able to speak with patients who are newly diagnosed to help them through that time of fear and uncertainty and stigma and all of those emotions that come along with a new diagnosis.
So you have psychologists or social workers there. Does every CAN have that? Would have people that they can professionally talk to?
So they may not be in clinic. It might be via a phone call or a FaceTime chat for a peer navigator. We do also offer behavioral health services via telehealth. So a mental health service, our meeting with a psychiatrist or a nurse practitioner, a mental health nurse practitioner who can provide medication management if needed.
What are the counties? You said, are there 6 counties? What counties in Florida have a CAN Community Health?
To say all of the counties in Florida specifically, that I am not aware of each and every single county. In South Florida specifically, we have 6 different clinics that kind of line that southeast coast. We have ours in Palm Beach County and Lake Worth. We have one in Fort Lauderdale in the Poinciana Park. We just acquired a new clinic in Fort Lauderdale by the Sea. And then we have a clinic in Miami Gardens, Oakland Park, and South Beach.
So CAN Community Health they can go on their website and check out cancommunityhealth.org, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do know that we have clinics in Orlando, Daytona, Sarasota, St. Pete, Ybor, Clearwater, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, I believe. So we cover Florida pretty well.
So your position there, what is the name of your position?
I am a nurse practitioner. I'm currently the only provider in the Lake Worth clinic. So if you're coming to the clinic and you need to see a provider in Lake Worth, you're going to see me. So anyone living with HIV who is coming for treatment sees me. Anyone interested in pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP sees me as well. If you need to be treated for an STI, I'm that provider as well.
Wow. You're going on for a doctorate, Doc?
Not officially yet. That's something on the back of my mind. I just need to make sure that I have a really good piece to use for my thesis or doctorate, or whatever I would need to do.
So tell me more about CAN community, but tell me about really all the services, real detail. Tell somebody who's new, they're new to Palm Beach County. They're new to Florida. They don't have a clue. They just know that there might be HIV positive or they're an LGBTQ plus person. Tell me about all the things that CAN community, especially as I deal with Lake Worth since Palm Beach County. So what are all the services specifically that CAN Community Health does?
Yes. So if you are someone who just moved to Palm Beach County, you're living with HIV, looking for a new provider, or looking to return to care after being out for a while, you can come into our clinic and make an appointment. We would provide lab work. We would do STI testing if you need it. We would have a visit as well with me, and I would provide medications. Depending on your medication, I would have samples on site. And then depending on the CAN location, for mine particularly, we typically will connect our patients with the EIS services at Compass, where they will connect the patient to Ryan White services. If they are uninsured, they'll connect them to ADAP for medication coverages and connect them with a case manager as well.
Do some of your clients have private insurance, however?
Some do, yes. And if someone is needing insurance, if it is within open enrollment season, we do have an option to assist patients with enrolling in private insurance within our community. If it is out of enrollment season and they do not qualify to enroll outside of that enrollment season, then we would connect them with Ryan White services.
Oh, that's wonderful. So they can enroll in an insurance program when they advertise for those few months in the fall.
Exactly.
Open enrollment. You take all insurance? What insurance? You take everything?
We take most insurances. There are a few outliers that maybe we don't fall in network, but we do take most insurances.
That's great. And so the biggest thing is, what are you seeing in the 2025 since the year 2000, even after COVID? Because I've been involved in this movement since 81 and 94 since my husband passed. Seriously. So I haven't gone anywhere other than forward, up, and older. But the thing is that where do you see HIV now, where it's going to go, the stigma involved? How do you see what's happening where it was? Because I was so actively involved in the streets movement more, and
Right.
Now it's not. But where do you see how far we've either come or we've not come with this?
So I'm gonna refer to my notes for a couple of numbers for you, and then give my thoughts on those numbers after I've kind of explained that. So in 2022, the AIDS VU reported that there were almost 8,400 people living with HIV in Palm Beach County, and that is a rise in new HIV diagnoses over time. About 37% of those new diagnoses were among people 25 to 34 years of age. Mm-hmm. And the Black and Hispano or Latinx populations are disproportionately affected. In the prevalence rate of HIV in Florida far exceeds the national averages, and Florida is among the top 3 states with the highest rate of new diagnoses. So we have come a long way, yes, but we still have a much longer way to go. And the ending HIV epidemic goals for 2030, it's to reduce new infections by 75% by 2025, which we are here now, and then 90% by 2030.
Is that realistic? Is that realistic?
I think that we could get there. We have some concerns with possible cuts to federal funding coming that could directly affect our HIV population. And there's a case that was just heard by the Supreme Court on April 21st that could possibly threaten access to PrEP and insurance coverage for pre-exposure prophylaxis. So it would be doable, I think, if we had all of our playing cards, but we risk not having all of those cards in play.
Yeah, and I'm very into the media, not necessarily news, right, but when it comes to things like this, my ears perk up. Yeah. And I know something just went before the Supreme Court. Did they get a verdict on that yet? Not yet.
The ruling, I believe, is expected to come end of June.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And that was, again, for our audience. And what was that presented before the Supreme Court? Was it Florida? Who did that?
It originated in Texas in 2022, the original case. It was an organization, a management company who did not want to provide PrEP insurance coverage on religious grounds. And so now that has sort of snowballed into a little bit more, and it made its way to the Supreme Court a couple weeks ago, April 21st. I think that was about 2 weeks ago.
And they're going to you'll know about what's going to happen. Why PrEP? Why are they picking on PrEP?
I think originally it was based on, like I said, Religious Freedoms Act, to say that our company doesn't agree with the homosexual lifestyle that PrEP the word is
allows access.
Exactly.
Right.
However, we know that HIV affects any and all genders, sexual orientation, races. It affects everyone. It's not just the LGBTQ population, and so this could really make a dent in the progress that we've made with HIV treatment and prevention.
Yeah, I have some guests on who are extremely hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just boom, boom, boom. It's gonna. And we have others who are more with the funding, more with grants, more who see political, and they're allowed to be more political because they're not employed.
Right.
And so I'm not caught in the middle. I can do anything I want. That's not my thing. My thing is to ask you how you feel. And I mean, I'd like a job. I haven't had a job in 40 years, so I haven't had a job. This is a job right now. A door opened. This is my job right now. Yeah. Pro bono. But the thing is that I just see a perpetual go forward, go back. It's like this dance that you never really go forward that much, and you never go back that much. And a lot of times you're going sideways. And I just think the money issue really gets to me, because I was talking to my previous guest on another show, and I always said it's still going to be the dollars and cents. And I think when you're dealing with HIV, that's a real tragedy, or the LGBTQ community. Why should your sexuality bother me? Why is that such? I don't understand why the sexuality issue or the transgender, I don't understand any of it, because it's not bothering you. You're not paying my rent. You're not having to buy my groceries. You're not sleeping with me. I mean, why should this be such a big deal when there's people in this country who have lost everything through natural disasters? Why is there so much emphasis, Lydia, on this?
Susan, I think if I knew the answer to that, you and I would be somewhere on an island living pretty right now, because we would have, we would have answers, and maybe we'd have money from those answers, but I don't know the answers to those questions, unfortunately. It doesn't quite make sense to me either. That's why I really love the work that I do, because I think that we do serve as a safe haven for patients of any race, gender, sexuality. They can come and they know that they're going to receive totally inclusive and non-judgmental care from us. And I think that that's something really special.
Yeah, I think that I refer to as a cruise ship. I
Yeah.
think the cruise ship has left the port, but I
Yeah.
think the lifeboats are saving the people.
Yeah.
I see safe places as lifeboats
Yeah. Yeah,
because
I agree.
you need that. You have a big ship, you got a lot of stuff going on, the ship goes down, you want to be on a lifeboat.
Yeah.
And I see places like Compass or CAN or the other agencies that we've had on. You need that because don't you get people that come into you who are very afraid of not only a diagnosis, but where their status is with financial and everything. What do you see the most of that comes in to your facility?
Absolutely. You know, fear of finances. How am I going to pay for this medication and these visits and these labs? Fear of stigma that comes from family or friends. You know, fear of is my employer gonna cover this with my insurance? And so there's a lot of emotion involved with every visit that we have every day at CAN. And I'm just happy that we are there to provide that little bit of support that they may need.
Right. And you said there were 8,400 people in Palm Beach County?
A little under 8,400 people. That was in 2022.
Who are HIV positive. And has that increased or decreased?
That number has increased a little bit in Palm Beach County.
And would you say that part of that reason is my word is complacency. I think every show I've used that word a dozen times.
Yeah.
Well, that's exaggerating, maybe 3 or 4. But complacency is what medications have done, what the mainstream media has done, what our society has done is it's allowed everything to just simmer. And I think complacency has taken over the youth. You said the big demographics is 24 to 35?
25 to 34, yep.
And that you said was Hispanic, Latinx, African-American women? How about African-American women?
I don't have that specific statistic on my notes, but I do know that I have seen that number has risen as well, disproportionately affected.
All right. Now tell me about the seniors like myself who think they can screw everything in sight. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I do have a few, since I have been working at CAN Community Health, I've had a few people your age have come back positive for the first time. And it's sometimes a shock to them, sometimes not. But, you know, HIV can affect all ages. I'm seeing that he's putting down right now. Anyone between the ages of 13 and 64 get tested at least once a year. If you are having sex, get tested. If you don't know what sex is or what constitutes sex, come talk to us. Come talk to Compass. We're happy to educate and tell you, yes, it's time to get tested, or you know how often you should be getting tested and how we can prevent it from happening.
What do you tell a nice 70-year-old woman or man who thinks he can do everything and she can do whatever she wants, and she comes in and finds out she's got a great big old STD or HIV? What's their reaction? What do you tell them? How do you counsel these people?
I do not shy away from talking about sex or getting detailed in my visits. And I think and I hope that makes my patients feel a little bit more comfortable. I have to tell you, I have very open and honest conversations, and my patients are very honest with me. And so I feel lucky in that sense because they're going to tell me, I'm going to be able to tell them what their exact risk is for STIs or HIV, and we'll have that conversation and hopefully either get started with PrEP or at least they'll know about it by the end of our visit.
Other than other medications, do you think PrEP has really been a gain? It's like birth control for HIV.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I mean, instead of taking 40 pills or 20 pills, you can get a shot now every other month, I think. But PrEP has really been like, take that one pill every day.
A total game changer. Yes. You either have one pill every day, or you can take an injection as well for PrEP after your loading dose. It's every other month. So, and I know that there are some other options in the works that'll be coming out hopefully within the next year or so. And it's an absolute game changer. You have different options available for for what people fits best with their lifestyle. If somebody doesn't want anyone knowing that they're on PrEP, they can come and get the injection, and it keeps it pretty secret. So it's amazing how far we've come with PrEP.
Yeah, but do you think, though, that the medications has kind of lulled a lot of people? And I mean that seriously, young people. I always say that when I was young, I mean, when I was really young and I was high or I was smoking, I was marijuana or martinis or whatever I wanted to do, I didn't think anything about having a pillow or a condom or anything. And the mere fact that I am HIV negative is because my husband was bisexual, and we chose an abstinent relationship after 1981 because of his lifestyle. And I know had I continued to have sex with him, I would have been ill, because he got ill and passed in 94, but I was with him for 25 years and I loved him and he was my best friend. And so that part is real. But I do know that when you're high, you don't really think twice about putting on a condom. So what about young people? You getting any teenagers in there, and how do you counsel? What do you deal with them? I mean, they're got their whole lives ahead of them, and they can do it. They're invincible. What do you do?
You bring up a very good point. And for my patients who I am able to see, we do offer walk-in free STI testing. And so if someone comes back positive for an STI, then they will see me at our clinic for treatment. And I take that opportunity every single time to educate those patients on PrEP and post-exposure prophylaxis, because I think that is just as important as knowing about PrEP. And so if you have that moment where you are drunk or you're high or, whatever the case may be, you forgot to put a condom on, the condom broke, whatever the case may be, then I have taken those extra few minutes to talk to you about post-exposure prophylaxis. And that you can come in and hopefully be protected from that one encounter. So it's about education.
You can walk in, or do you set up an appointment with you? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you're coming to do STI testing, you can walk in. You can also make an appointment online. As for an appointment with us, if you're living with HIV or you want to be on PrEP, you can always give us a call at the number. I believe Richardo put it on the screen. You can call us and make an appointment, or you can make an appointment online as well.
Here it is. And would you get the medications through you? Any of the meds, whether it's PrEP or PEP or the drug? How about any of the HIV drug medications that are out there? Are those through a pharmacy, or are they through you also?
So all of it would go through a pharmacy. We do have samples that I can do. So maybe I can start you the same day that you come in. I can start you on post-exposure PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. And if you are living with HIV, I have some samples on site that you can walk out and start your medications that very same day as your diagnosis. And then your subsequent refills would go through a pharmacy.
And then how about the insurance then? If you don't have insurance, then is that when you have to apply for the ADAP program or the Ryan White program? How does that work with the pharmacies?
Yes, absolutely. So Ryan White does help pay for visits and labs associated with living with HIV, and ADAP, the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, helps cover medication funds. So there are a few pharmacies who accept that funding. So prescriptions would go to those pharmacies, and the patients would be able to get their medications from there. And sorry, go ahead.
Those would be the big pharmacies, like Walgreens was just bought over, or that'll be soon. But so it's the bigger pharmacies,
right? Exactly. Yeah, Walgreens and CVS, I believe.
And Walgreens was just bought out by a private equity firm called Sycamore. It hasn't gone into effect 100% yet, but the deal's done. It just hasn't been. My pharmacist told me that Sycamore is a private equity group that bought Walgreens. I think it was 4.2 million or 2.4 billion, that type thing. So it tells you the times we're in, boom, 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 getting eaten up. So in other words, though, you really love what you do there. What is the number one STD that you see coming in?
The number one STI, I believe, is chlamydia. I might have those statistics wrong. I'm seeing a lot of chlamydia, a lot of gonorrhea, and a lot of syphilis. There is now a medication called, it's an antibiotic doxycycline. It's called doxycycline post-exposure prophylaxis that we can, you can take within 72 hours of a condomless encounter to help prevent those STIs. So if you want more information about that, you can always come and make an appointment for that with us as well. But I think
what is that called?
What
is that called?
It's called Doxy Pep. So doxycycline
right.
post-exposure prophylaxis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we had another guest who talked about that now there's one that'll help for several of the STIs also.
Exactly.
Would you counsel, and how many people at your facility?
At my facility, we're a very small clinic. We have myself, my nurse manager, Abra, our registered nurse, Elisa, and our front desk staff, Rodderly. Very small clinic.
Wow. So really the personal service is really important.
Mm-hmm. I can guarantee you're going to come into the clinic and we are all going to remember your name. We're going to remember what we talked about the last time we saw you, and just remember, a connection. And I think that we really are able to create a good connection with our patients at our clinic.
Is your home headquarters, though, in the Tampa St. Pete? Is that the main facility now?
That is where the headquarters are in Tampa, yes.
Headquarters are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first connection I met. So are you the only, you said, nurse practitioner there?
I'm the only nurse practitioner there, the only provider. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
You have 4 people in your facility.
Yes.
So if someone calls that number, they're going to get the front desk.
Exactly. Yes.
And then they're going to get what's the next one?
Next one would probably be the nurse manager, or me, depending on what the issue is. Yeah.
What do you like about your working for CAN Community Health? What kept you in the nursing field, and what do you love about it? Even if it wasn't HIV, though, do you have more of a passion for HIV and AIDS or for the LGBTQ community? Where is more your passion for what you're doing?
I think my passion lies at the intersection of those two communities, honestly. I have always admired the nurses that worked during that AIDS crisis bedside. They really served as a lifeline to those patients in the hospital when some providers didn't want to go in those rooms and families didn't want to visit. And so I've respected nurses for such a long time for their care during that time. And I've felt a calling for that for many years. And when I realized, I spent 8 years as a nurse at the bedside in the hospitals. And while I love providing care, it wasn't quite right. And so I finally, I said, all right, let me look at where I can get into providing care for people living with HIV. And when I started looking at those jobs, it seemed like I needed to advance my degree. And that's what I did, and volunteered at the Smart Ride, which was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life because it brought me to where I am here today.
Yeah, once you get into the service industry, and you find a passion, you don't get into the HIV issues without having a link somewhere, a compassion. It's something powerful has to overtake you because it's still too specialized.
I agree.
It's still too marginalized. It's too stigmatized. So you have to really want to be in the trenches. You're a Marine.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that speaks to everyone who works in my clinic and honestly, probably for everyone employed by CAN. You really have to want to do this work to be working here. And I think that is really something that our patients can see whenever they come into our clinic.
And the personal interaction where the medical end of life here in this country, especially, I think has become so. First words out of your receptionist's mouth is, "What insurance do you have?"
Yeah.
They don't even say their name. "What insurance do you have?"
Yeah.
It's become so impersonal that when you're talking about someone's life, mental state, physical, emotional, spirit, you can't have that mindset. You need warmth and understanding. And if you don't have that, get out of your field.
I agree. 100% I agree. Yes.
So you've been called to do this. You think you'll stay with HIV and AIDS the whole time, or you see yourself kind of going into other things?
No, I see myself staying here. I'm excited to see what's coming in the world of prevention. I'm excited to see what options we're going to have in the world of treatment. I am a newbie when it comes to HIV care. I've been with CAN for 2 years, so I don't even presume to know what it must have been like to provide care in the 90s and, you know, coming up to where we have come now. But I'm really excited to be a part of what the future looks like. And so, no, I'm here to stay.
That's wonderful, because I may need your help too.
I'm
so excited. I'm so excited to meet people who are right here, you know, half an hour away, that I can walk in and just feel like, you were on my show. I'm so excited to finally meet you in person. I really have. The show has opened up a lot of opportunity for me. Richardo knows a lot of people, obviously, and I know a lot, but you know, they're spread out all over the country. So I'm not. This has gotten me back in my own backyard, literally. If someone needs spiritual counseling, do you have anybody there that you refer to, or how does that work?
Specifically spiritual counseling, I don't quite know the answer to that, Susan. Right. We do have a wonderful patient access specialist. We have them with all of our clinics. I can speak to mine specifically because she's so wonderful. Her name is Keisha. She serves as a very good resource for our patients. So if I had a patient asking for that, I would more than likely reach out to her to see if she had any information for me, or Compass. Since I'm so lucky to be located inside of Compass, I would probably reach out to them as well.
Yeah. And the other thing would be then, what about as far as the how do I word this? Mental. You have people there in mental health. That's a very big aspect of this whole dynamics. So as far as mental health, is that at Compass, or do you also refer out to other people, other places that you know have that?
Yeah. So Compass does offer mental health services. We at CAN also offer mental health services via telehealth. So we do have therapists who our patients can schedule an appointment with and meet them. And then I do have some other areas and some local areas that I can refer my patients to as well.
So you can do telehealth a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Yeah. If you can't make it in, we can do a telehealth visit too.
Wonderful. And then again, I'm getting back to the insurance. Do you directly take insurance, or do you have to, if someone doesn't have insurance, then again, how does someone, let's say they're new to the area, if they're dying, how does they go about getting the insurance? Whether it's, if they had private, that's one thing, but they can also be dropped at any time. Who knows? I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, good question. So we do also offer a sliding scale fee for uninsured patients. That's going to be more for our STI testing patients and our PrEP patients. For patients living with HIV, if you are uninsured and again, not in that window for insurance enrollment, then we would connect you to someone to enroll you in Ryan White services and get that ADAP coverage for your medications. And then once insurance season rolls around, that's where our patient access specialist, my specific one is Keisha, comes in, and she will help enroll our patients into an insurance that we provide through CAN, or help them find something as well.
Do you communicate, do you have quarterly or however, how do you all get together with all the different facilities that you have, like 6 different states and several, I mean, it seems like you had dozens in Florida. How do you all get together to be able to share information about our area is going to be different than Arizona?
Absolutely.
Our South Florida is different than, it's the 3rd in the country with rates of everything.
Yeah, great question. So for our specific area in South Florida, we have morning huddles. We meet with my clinic and the Fort Lauderdale clinic every morning. And then we do also have quarterly town hall meetings where the entire Caniverse meets together and we all chit chat.
So there's very good communication.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't you think you need great communication today to be able to deal with this?
Oh my gosh, more so now than ever, I think. Yeah.
I think it's marvelous that this area has so much good going on. South Florida, we are, or Orlando. I mean, Florida, with all its faults, when
Yeah.
it comes to a lot of stuff with HIV, who knows what the funding, but I'm saying Florida itself, as big as it is, people think that Tallahassee is Miami. It's a whole different.
Oh my gosh, a whole different ball game. Oh my gosh, yes.
You can't. I mean, if you're coming from Gainesville and you're moving into Boca,
Yeah.
well, that's going to be a lot different. If you're going to Lake Worth, if you're going to Jupiter, people don't really understand the dynamics and how important it is to know where they can go to get the help they need.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to take a second to highlight a grant that we've received. It's an Ending the HIV Epidemic grant that we have received to bring a mobile treatment unit out to the Belle Glade area to provide testing and rapid access to care on that mobile unit if somebody does test positive on that van. We have a provider on site who can start treatment right away, and that was through a grant that we received from the Ending HIV Epidemic. So we're definitely trying.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you have a facility in Belle Glade?
That is what we're doing right now. I believe the van is going out on Mondays. Please don't quote me on that date, and if it's every Monday, please don't quote me on that one either. But that is how we're servicing that area now, is on that mobile unit.
Is that the mobile unit that they have now out of the health department, or the HIV Care Council? I mean, is that
exactly
the mobile testing van, and they'll start going down to the Glades regularly?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
The poor Glades. The Glades doesn't get enough visibility. I always want people from the Glades on this show to talk about what they have. We have marvelous. Yeah, because they do. They have they're a wonderful part of Florida's history.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. A very underserved
and they
area with some amazing people there who deserve the care and recognition that we know here in our area.
And when let's say someone's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, or they have other underlying conditions, is it always the HIV that is the significant, or do you think diabetes, heart disease, cancer? How do you address the other risk factors involved?
Yeah, I think that we've come so far with treatment of HIV that those other conditions that you mentioned are probably going to come into play sooner than the HIV will. You know, I do offer primary care services to my patients as well. So it is sort of like a good little one-stop shop for the care that I can manage.
Right.
You know, beyond my scope, I'll have to refer out, but I am also able to offer those primary care services in addition to the HIV treatment.
Yes, because a previous guest was talking about that and said that it's not always the HIV part of it, that they have underlying conditions.
Exactly.
And then they need to get specialized treatment maybe for that.
Exactly.
So you also have to know your medications, because if you're on something for diabetes, or you're on something with cancer, or you're on something for heart disease, you also have to know the medications properly to be able to, I mean, HIV medications are still big.
Yeah. And to know which ones interact with which, and, you know, when can you take now and when can you take later. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Do you have, while we're still taping in May, I want an infectious disease doctor on. I have never had one, believe it or not. I want an infectious disease doctor.
Okay.
Would you please put your feelers out, because we still have a few openings in May.
Okay.
And we stopped taping at the end of May. And I just would love to talk to a doctor about their practice, not getting that they need clients, but I would really love to have an infectious disease doctor out there. So for you, nurse practitioner, consultant, you're just about everything up there. So, but you really enjoy your work, and CAN is a marvelous program, CAN Community Health. The two ladies in Sarasota started this. And what year?
So it was Dr. Susan Terry and Dr. Jeffrey Hall, and they started it in 1991.
A man and a lady that was?
Yeah.
Are they still alive?
You caught me. That one I do not know the answer to.
You don't know?
Don't know. I'm sorry, Susan.
I don't blame you. A lot of us could go like this. I mean, I just had my 79th birthday, May 4th. I mean, I'm on the other side of the mountain. That's how I look at it. But in general, I just think it's a marvelous opportunity to be able to talk to someone like yourself and have you be a spokesperson for health and wellness, and you enjoy it. And CAN is wonderful, isn't it? They're really a great facility, and we're so fortunate to have you. And I know that you care about every patient, every client.
I do. I really do. And I hope that my patients see that when they come in, because I do genuinely love the work that I do. And I'm so thankful to be a part of CAN Community Health that allows me this opportunity and has so many resources for our patients to come in and receive care.
Please tell Daniel that it was marvelous having you. He didn't hesitate. He said right off the bat, Lydia Breaux, she's going to be my girl that's going to be on the show. And I just thank you so much. We put your information up regularly, but it's CAN Community Health, and they're just all over the state and in 6 states. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for an incredible show. And I'll meet you one day. I'll meet all of you one day.
Yes, we do.
I'm saving you all for my summer trips. And then I want to thank our viewing audience for all the support. We have regulars who would tune in all the time, and we're growing one story at a time, breaking the stigma, removing the stigma, and helping people all over the country, one show at a time. So thank you so much for watching Positively Positive. And I'm Susan Mintz. You can follow Richardo Jackson and Campbell Health Solutions on all social media platforms, and myself on my website and social media. And if you can't find us, you need some help more than we can give you on this show. Really, between Richardo Jackson and Campbell Health and West Palm, and I'm sitting in Boca here doing my thing, and all our guests are all over the country. If you can't find us on social media, you definitely need some technology help. And as my book says, I'll always be committed to love, and that's how it works. So thank you all so much for a great, great night, and I'll be meeting you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, Susan.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful.